Live on Facebook right now, and then we'll jump into it. All right. Let's see if that worked. All right. Cool. We're live. All right. How's everybody doing? Let's unmute ourselves and share. We're going to start with some week one wins. You can't hear me. Yeah, you can. Are we good? Good. All right. Who wants to share a win? First of all, I'm John Pugh. I'm not Jeff. I'm taking over for Jeff today. So if you thought I was Jeff, I'm sorry for the disappointment. If you knew it was me, awesome. I'm excited to be here with you guys. We're going to share a lot about how to build your database through business to business relationships. And the cool thing about building your business with business to business relationships is you get to do it much faster with a lot more people. So who here likes to work smarter, not harder? Raise your hand. Yeah, cool, me too. Who here doesn't like to do things that are difficult, would rather take the easy path, right? I want to do the easy path. I want the easy button. So that's what we're going to talk about today. All right, so who has a win? Who did some homework from last week? Who has a story? Perfect. Marquetta, you want to share your story? I got to unmute you. Hold on. Unmute yourself. There we go.
Okay, yes. Well, I guess my win would be I have a problem with adding Facebook friends, and it's so more so as when the gentlemen start adding me, they immediately jump in my inbox and ask for like dates and stuff. But I never could figure out why no one else would accept my friend request. Jeff gave me a tip about updating my Facebook cover. And I kind of didn't want to. It was a good thing I didn't cry, but I did update it. And from there, I received 29 friends, like added 29 people to my Facebook friends list just by changing my Facebook cover. So it was just like, oh, okay, yeah, maybe I should start listening more, like just really doing the work basically. So without doing the work, if I fail, it's on me. So by listening and actually doing the work and taking that leap, it really did help.
Well, I'll tell you, number one, great job. Number two, you have to do the work, right? If I go to Equinox and I get a $500 gym membership, I'm not going to get in shape, right? Just by signing up for the gym. Mm-hmm. So you guys have all signed up for the gym, but now you got to actually go and do the work. And what I talked about earlier this morning, and I'll share with you guys now, is like, have you ever seen like somebody fishing, right, on a big boat or at a river or the beach or whatever, and they've got like 4 fishing poles out there, like dropped in the water, right? They got a bunch of them, and then you're just there with your like little rinky dink, like one. They're taking it really seriously, and you're just taking it like kind of as a hobby, right? Whatever. Well, every conversation you have, every friend you add, everything you do along Jeff's program is like putting an extra fishing line in the water. And so if you add 100 people, that's 100 new opportunities for business. If you have 25 conversations, that's 25 more chances you have at catching a fish. If you have 10 phone calls, that's 10 high quality, right, nets that you've put in the water to pull some fish out with. But just because you don't have 25 fishing poles out there, it doesn't mean you shouldn't go fishing. Right? And so sometimes we get so caught up in the idea of being perfect and the idea of finishing out the checklist. If we get so caught up in, gosh, if I'm not 100%, I'm just not going to do it at all. What I would encourage you every week is to not get caught up in that perfectionism. Those are your goals. Those are the numbers we know that will cause massive change and success in your business. But at the same time, life happens. Sometimes, your kid jams their finger in the door on a Tuesday and you got to take them to the doctor or whatever, right? Like life will always get in the way. And so 2 things. Number 1, do what you can. Number 2, get back on that horse, right? Get back in the gym. We've all had like a cheat day, right? We've all had that day where we got, emotional and we went through the drive through and we got the supersized shake. And then the next day, right, we could either give up on the fitness goals entirely, or we could say, you know what, that was yesterday. And today I'm going to get back in the gym. Today I'm going to make my contacts. Today I'm going to add new friends. Today I'm going to do all those basics. So we had a question. Do you mind sharing what you changed?
No, I don't mind. So my original Facebook cover, it basically featured a picture of my daughter, my cousin, and one of my employees, and they had passed away. And that had basically been my Facebook cover for 5 years since my employee died. So once he died, I added him to that little collage, and I just kept it that way for 5 years. So on Jeff's recommendation, I actually slept on it because I was like, I don't want to change it. I don't want, to like just feel like I felt like I was doing something wrong, basically, and I wouldn't be honoring their memory. But however, with my new Facebook cover, it features all different pictures of all my children from when we were on vacation. It also does include my deceased daughter. It includes a picture of me in my military uniform and of my sorority. So, that people can see that, hey, I am more than just, this. I center around my children, the military, and I actually do have, I'm a fun, I guess, person, and I'm a real person at that as well, so that they can see that, as Jeff says, picture speaks 1,000 words, and they can see that by the pictures that I did post.
Yeah, so it's important that your profile be optimized for this strategy. So you need to have things that make you relatable. You need to follow Jeff's advice and fill out your profile. I run a large mastermind group, so I see a lot of profiles of people, and there's kind of like two camps. There's the ones that get into the group that have some basics filled out that say who they are, where they live, what they do, like all of that is really clear. In 2 seconds, I can look at it and say yes or no. Yes or no, this is a real person. Or we've got the other camp of like, I'm not going to show you anything. I'm not going to tell you anything. You're going to have to guess. I don't even show you my profile picture, like whatever. Well, that's not going to work, right? This strategy is not meant for somebody who wants to be a privacy Nazi. Like if you want to be the most private person in the world, and get off the call, delete your Facebook, and go figure out another way to build your business. Because this strategy requires that you put yourself out there. To hop on to the other comment about the guys sliding in the DMs and whatever, like part of it will be what you post. So if guys see your posts and your pictures and your things and they tend to feel more provocative, like I'm not going to say you can't post provocative things at all, and that you don't have a right to post whatever you want to post and have people not do that. Like people should not do that no matter what you post. But at the same time, like just know that the more provocative pictures you post, the more likely you are to get that. Right. Now, the other side of it is you might not post anything provocative at all. It might be all work. It might be all professional. It might say, hey, I'm married and these are my kids and this is da-da-da, and people will still do it.
Yeah.
So that's just part of life. And so what I might encourage you to do in those instances is say, look, I'm married. I'm not interested. I'm here for work. Whatever you're going to say to them in return, just come up with like a canned response and say, look, I totally understand. Maybe you got the wrong impression. This is what my goal is in building a relationship with you. And I want it to be mutually beneficial and reciprocal, but it's not like that. And then if they do it again, say, look, I asked you nicely. This is the last warning, and if they do it again, just block them.
Right. And that's my case. Like I post mostly about my children, but now I'm focusing on just the content, that Jeff recommended from the referral generator. And he told me just focus on females. And I honestly had 3 to do that. And I did exactly what you said, like, hey, I'm not single, like this is what what my Facebook is for. And, normally I would put out a little blurb and say, hey, if you send me a friend request and once I accept it, you immediately jump in my inbox, then you just gave me permission to tag you in all my real estate posts. So that kind of worked, to get people to stop as well. But, now I'm just like, hey, it's strictly business. Like I'm taking, and and so far they've been okay with it. So, but it's like, now, for like the last 5 years or so, it's just like strictly about my kids and, real estate and work. So,
Awesome. I love that. Did anybody else have a win, or did anybody get 100 comments on one of their posts or anything? You did? Awesome, Marquetta, good job. Rebecca, do you have a win you want to share, or you got the 100 comments?
I got a couple.
100.
I had a couple posts with 100. Am I muted?
No, you're unmuted now. You're good.
Oh, okay. I had a couple posts with over 100 comments. Yes.
Good job. Pretty fun once you start to get in the habit of doing that routinely. It really will. The strategy is well thought out. It really will help boost your engagement long term and help more people see your stuff. Shelly, did you have something you wanted to add?
Yeah, so I mean, I joined this group last week and I've had my house go on the market and left my team. I've had tons of stuff going on, but I did do a posting on Facebook with comments. I think I got close to 90 or something like that. And for the most part, it was great, although there were a couple of inappropriate pervish remarks. I don't know how other people have experienced, like whether you've had any of that stuff happen, but Jeff had encouraged me to grab one of the questions that are commonly used. And I think, what did it was? What's the strangest thing you've ever eaten? I picked that one, being close to Thanksgiving and things like that. Most people, it's just very straightforward, but there was probably about 4 that I had to like immediately delete because they were completely off the charts, inappropriate.
Wow.
Yeah. And so stuff like that.
People are weird. It's a great way to clean up your friends list pretty quickly though, right? Like you know, if somebody wants to raise their hand and reveal themselves as a creeper, like better to find them quickly than to take a long time, right? Better to get them out of your life now than to be showing them property on a Saturday, wasting your time so they can try and pull some, creepy behavior or whatever. Yeah, exactly. Or as the other advice was, just work with women. Much easier that way. Leave all the creepy dudes behind. But all right, cool. Well, those are some great wins. The other group had shared, one person had gotten like a $18,000 deal out of it that was going to close pretty quickly. Some really great success stories out there. So I love that people are doing the work. And what you'll see is that as you do it more routinely, as you post more regularly, as you get a feel for it, you'll start to get your comments up higher. Some people will be like, hey, Jeff, I used one of your questions and I thought it was going to be a 200 comment question and I only got like 5 people. And it's like, well, guess what? You just started last week. And so nobody sees your stuff yet. Like you got to build up to it, right? Facebook doesn't just give you, fame overnight. You've got to start to warm up your audience and get people engaging with you. So cool. Well, I am going to do a quick screen share and I'm just going to show you one quick slide of kind of my background. So I've been in real estate for about 17 years licensed. I've been in real estate really my entire life. My parents owned a business and I started passing out flyers for them on my rollerblades when I was about 7 years old. And I got licensed out of high school and I went to work for them briefly, but they didn't really have enough business to keep me busy. So I went to work for an agent in their office and together we built a super high-end luxury business. So we sold $5 to $50 million houses along the coast here in Orange County, California. We sold Nicolas Cage's house for $35 million. We double-ended a deal. Yeah, it was pretty fun. Double-ended a deal for 27 million. We were in the top 10 in the world, and it was just the two of us. When I left that partnership, we had $750 million in active listings. And then I decided I wanted to go work with normal people who appreciate what I do and needed my help. And so I've been doing that for about the last 9 years. My team this year will do about 25 million, maybe 30 if we get lucky. We have a big deal that we're trying to put together. I was a KW team leader for 2 years. I was a KW productivity coach for 2 years. I co-founded a group called the Messy Middle Mastermind, which is an awesome Facebook group that I would love you all to join if you're interested. It's all about succeeding through others and not just being a solo individual, which I would argue nobody is a solo agent. Everyone has a team, whether it's your escrow officer or settlement, title, mortgage, whoever is part of your world, your home inspector, everyone's part of your team. And we're going to talk more about your team and what that looks like moving forward. But our Messy Middle Mastermind is having an online event, which I think Jeff was going to put in the group. It's going to be next week. It's a cultural summit. It's all about how to find amazing people and attract them to your organization, how to keep them engaged and highly productive so that they have success, and then how to keep them wildly happy and bought in so that they don't leave you, because everybody's concerned about training their next competition. So we're going to have a phenomenal keynote speaker. We're going to have a couple of amazing panels. One is going to be led by the Rainmakers, really telling you kind of what's up. The other one is going to be led by the admin teams that kind of break down the systems and kind of the culture keepers, if you will. And then the last thing is co-founder of 4Aces Nation, which is our EXP group. We just added our 100th agent partner yesterday. So we're at 100 agents across like 12 states, and we coach and train and mentor those people. So that's a little bit about who I am. And now let's talk about what we're going to talk about today. So we're going to talk about week 2, and we're going to talk about business owners. So the first circle here, right, is invite business owners. So last week you added 100 new friends, ideally, and you want them to be people who have shared values, have a shared location. You want them to be people who might be well connected and be able to introduce you to lots of people. You want them to be people that have hobbies in common or things like that, right? Well, in this one, we're going to focus on business owners. So we want to add this week 100 business owners right here, 100 new Facebook friends, and we want them to be business owners. So let's start with a little bit of mastermind. I'm going to bring us back here. Where are some ways, how might we find 100 business owners to add on Facebook this week?
Well, here is a magazine in the area where we live. It's a magazine that brings, it's called Impact. Probably through that, they advertise a lot of the business that are here in the area.
Oh, cool.
I probably can get the names from there and just go and look in the Facebook if they have a webpage.
Yeah, so people who like a specific group, right? So if you
Yeah.
have like small businesses of Raleigh, or, you know, business mastermind Orange County, or whatever, right? There might be a Facebook group for business owners. And so if you go into a Facebook group or an association, one thing I had thought of was to maybe like your local chamber of commerce and go to your chamber of commerce page. And then Jeff's putting a training, but there's been a couple of mentions of this training where you can go on and you can actually hack or find all of the people in your area who like that group or that page. And then you can go in and add them as friends. So that's a really quick and simple way. Does anybody else have any ideas of business owners, how you might be able to find some?
Maybe the ones you've done business with previously that aren't on your Facebook.
Jackpot, you get a gold star. Yeah, so like how many people do you know, right? So let's just do this exercise really quick. Let's take 1 minute right now, and I want you to write down the names of specific people that you know who own or run a business. So just write down some names real quick, take 1 minute. Who are the business owners in your life that you know right now? And bonus points if you're not already connected to them on Facebook. Go. All right. So how many did you guys come up with? Either pop it in the chat or let me know. How many people were you able to write down in a minute?
I came up with 4.
Got 4. Cool.
Yep.
You only have 96 to go.
I know, right?
Anita got 2. Marquetta got 5. Kat got 3. Is it Anna or Anna?
Anna.
Got 8. Awesome.
Yes.
So, so you can see that just out of your own memory, you probably know a lot of people that you've done business with that you're not connected to on Facebook. And this brings me to like a weird like thing where I personally feel you kind of have to get rid of this mentality. Some people have the mentality of like, my Facebook is for X. My Facebook is for my buddies. My Facebook is for the, this, that, or whatever, right? Yeah, Marquette, that's the smile of somebody who knows what I'm talking about. Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Not anymore, not really. We're gonna go ahead and use Facebook to make a whole crap ton of money. And that's the scientific term there, crap ton. Are you guys okay with crap ton of money? Would that be all right if we hit that goal this year? Yeah, I see some people smiling and nodding their heads. Yeah, we'd be cool with that. So let's go ahead and just use Facebook for what it is, which is the current best way to connect with as many people as possible during COVID/pandemic/nonsense, right? So we're just going to go ahead and throw those rules out the window and say, you know what? I know that guy. We did business together. I know he owns an auto detailing company. I'm going to go ahead and add him on Facebook. You may even choose to add your past clients on here, right? So, this may be the part of a show where you go in and you add all your past clients, which you've never done before, which might be scary, right? And yet we're going to go ahead and do it anyway. So let's go back and find who are those people. And then look, half of your past clients probably own a business. So we're going to add them in. All right. Now, you're going to be able to see really quickly how we chunk it down to 100. So you're going to be able to pull 10 or 20 names right out of your brain, right? So as I said to some of you, right now you only have 96 left, right? Now you only have 95 left. So start to chunk it down, really. Let's just make it 100, right? 100 is not too difficult. Next, we're going to go back to the workbook. We are going to start. So if everybody could turn to page, I don't know, I think it's page 4 in the workbook that was sent out this week. It should look like this. What is or was your 2020 goal? So who will share their 2020 goal with me? Or type it in the chat, either units or volume.
My unit was 30. I think it was 35.
35. So I'm going to start right there. Marquetta, is it okay if I pick on you a little? You seem like you can handle it.
Yeah.
Cool. So you guys, was it 30 or was it 35? Right? And so if you don't know off the top of your head exactly what your goal is, what do you think the chances are that you're going to hit it?
None.
No, it's not going to happen. And you know what that tells me is that tells me that your goal was just something that you picked arbitrarily, right? It was like 20 will work, or 25 or 30 will work, or 35 will work, or whatever, right? You don't, unless you have 100% clarity about what your goal is, you're much, much, much less likely to achieve it. So number 1, let's pick our goal. Now, number 2, let's just call it 30. Let's say the goal was 30. Where do you think you're going to end up at the end of the year?
I think I will end up with 10 transactions.
10. Okay.
If I don't get the 12 in 12 weeks.
Sure. So one way or another, you're probably going to have a gap, right? You're going to come up short of about 10 minimum, right? So here you can start to fill out this. You guys can see how this works, right? You've got the units and the volume of what is or was your goal. You've got the are you on track, yes or no. Most people, I'll just make you feel normal here. Most people are not on track to hit their goal. A few people, is there anyone here who is on track to hit their goal this year that wants to share?
You mean that you are working towards that, or like you're already in?
Like you will hit it. By the end of the year, you feel like you will have hit your goal. You'll have done what you set out to do.
I will hit it.
Okay, how many houses did you want to sell this year?
20.
And you'll hit your 20 units?
I will hit my 20 units.
Okay, awesome. So what I bet was the situation there is you probably got off to a good start, right? Your January and your February probably looked pretty good, right?
Yes.
And then throughout the year, you've managed to stay consistent. And so if anybody's flown on a plane recently, most people probably haven't, but when you fly on a plane, right, the pilot straps in, puts his seatbelt on and takes the plane off. And then the pilot presses autopilot and he like grabs a cup of coffee or maybe he takes a nap or like whatever, right? And autopilot flies the plane. It takes you from here to Scottsdale or to Hawaii or wherever, right? And autopilot doesn't just like it's not just like a seatbelt put across the steering wheel, just holding it in one direction, right? What autopilot does is autopilot course corrects, right? A little bit here, a little bit there, right? It does that over and over and over and over again the entire time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So what you want to do in order to be successful is you want to autocorrect or use your autopilot as often as possible throughout the year. And so now I want you to write down your 2021 goal in units and volume. So take 30 seconds to write down what your units and volume goal is. And then when you're done, everybody say, hey, Jeff.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey everyone, hey, how you doing? I'm just taking my medication, my happy pills.
Yay.
So awesome that John is helping you with this.
Is that a vodka, Jeff?
Yeah, no vodka with morphine. Apparently it's no go.
Oh man.
I'm doing really great. Thank you for all your messages. I'm so stoked that John is teaching you. I watched his first session this morning and I think this one's even better. Really cool stuff to add business to business relationships. They're real powerful. So ask me anything, ask John anything, but just want to pop in and say hi and say thank you for all you guys and thanks to John. And make sure you go to a summit because I'm going to be there. It's going to be awesome.
Thank you, Jeff. All right. So what were some of the goals you guys wrote down? What did you set? Who wants to share a goal they set for next year?
I have 25 units with about 4 million in volume for me personally. That doesn't include my agents.
Okay. So 25 units. So when you sell 25 units, what will happen? What do you get?
My kids get more money in their savings.
Like $1 more?
Huh?
Like $1 more? Like $1 more?
Oh no, a lot more. Well, my 18-year-old, she'll basically max out her IRA contributions.
Okay.
So with my 21-year-old and my 16-year-old.
Okay, cool.
So.
And what else? Anything else change when you hit that 25 units goal?
We'll have, instead of one vacation, we'll be able to take 2 vacations a year. And my son's car, if I can't pay it off this year, it'll be paid off next year.
So we're going to pay off a car. We're going to take 2 vacations. We're going to max out our IRA. That sounds like a pretty good life. So I can imagine the conversation like, hey kids, guess what? We're going to go on an extra vacation. Like I'm going to max out your IRA. Like, I don't know if they get excited about that, but like I would, that sounds fun. Now let's just take 20 seconds. Marquetta, would you run me through the conversation with your family if you don't hit those goals?
Well, for my it's more so well, we have this plan this year. However, I would like for us to go on an extra vacation, and I would like to pay your car off. And they're excited.
Now next year, let's say we're 12 months in the future, and you have to be like, hey, remember how I told you we were going to pay off your car? Mm-hmm. Well, I didn't hit my goal, so we're not.
And my son will be, basically like, it's okay, Mom, it's my car, it's something I'm supposed to do. But it's like, no, that's supposed to be my gift to you. So I need to, kind of work harder, or, if you can help me, maybe if you know someone that's looking to buy or sell, send them my way.
So yeah, like your kids, your family, like they're going to let you off the hook, right? Mm-hmm. They're going to be like, it's okay, Mom. It's okay. We're not going on a vacation. It's okay. You can't pay for college. It's okay. We're not going to buy a house this year. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, they'll let you off the hook for it. But like, how are you going to feel, right? You're not going to feel good about that. So bad. And it's not going to be motivating. And then you said there, like, so I need to work hard, right? Remember, we started this saying, we're not going to work hard. Nobody here is going to work hard. I'm not going to work hard. Okay. We're going to do the work, but we're not going to overwork ourselves, right? We're going to work smart. Okay. So we're going to be strategic. I want to get the most amount of sales. I want to get 25 sales and have you spend more time with your family. Okay. Is that all right? Would everybody here okay with a secret, with a cheat that would allow you to work less and make more money? Yeah, just pop it in the comments if you're okay with that. Just say yes. I just want to know you're awake and you're still paying attention. Because I'm here to make more money and work less. So I got some yeses. All right, I got the crowd back awake. Cool. So so what I want you to do, so we're going to take 25 units, right, Marquetta, and we're going to divide that by 12 months of the year, and we're going to find out that your monthly goal is to close, right? It could be either 2 or 3 houses. So what I would encourage you is to start planning or start paying attention to every single month. And I would say I would round everything up. So take your annual goal, divide it by 12 and round up. So your new goal now is to close 3 houses every month. If you sell 3 houses every month, you will 100% hit your goal. And if life gets in the way, if something crazy happens to your family or you get sick or whatever happens, and you have a month where you only sell 1, you'll still hit your goal because every other month you sold 3. So there's a lot of power in that rounding up. The reason we don't do 2.2 or 2.4 or 2.7 is because you can't sell 7/10 of a house. And so we're just gonna round it up to 3. Okay. That's the number you need to pay attention to. So the success that Anna had is because she had a great January and February. Well, guess what? Those deals were started in November and December. And those leads were generated most likely in September or October of the year before. So in order to hit a goal, you can't start in January. You can't start in February. You have to start doing the activities today that are going to build the pipeline that's going to pay you out over the next 12 months. That's going to be the closings that you're going to get in January, February, March, et cetera, right? That makes a lot of sense? Okay, so the reason that we tie it to your goals and the reason that I think, so we have a goal getter and we have a goal setter. So the goal setter is the conscious brain. The goal setter is the one that's like, I want to pay off my kid's car. I want to take my family on another vacation. That's easy, right? I can sit down and say, I want to sell 20 houses next year. I want to sell 100 houses next year. Anybody can do that. That's easy to write down on a piece of paper. The goal getter is your subconscious brain. So your subconscious brain is conditioned to keep you safe and comfortable. We have thousands of years of evolution where your brain is designed to keep you safe and comfortable. Does that make sense to everybody? And so doing something that is outside the norm is dangerous. Your brain is conditioned to think that calling 10 people on the phone that you haven't spoken to before is risky and dangerous, and that that's going to get you hurt. Your brain is conditioned that if you wake up early, you're not going to get enough sleep, and it's going to want to keep you warm and comfortable. No, just hit the snooze button. Stay in bed 5 more minutes. You don't need to get up. It's cold out there, right? All of the things that are going to allow you to break through and have success are going to be things that your natural state, your body is going to prevent you from doing. And when you get to a point down the line where you're doing these things routinely, where you're stepping outside of your comfort zone and you're making more contacts than you've made before, and you're having more conversations than you've had before, and you're doing all this stuff, you know what's going to happen to you most likely? You're going to get sick. When you start doing a new behavior, when you start changing your norm, your body is going to most likely revolt and you might be sick to your stomach, you might not sleep well, whatever it is going to happen. And unless you have a goal that is so crystal clear that you can come back to it over and over and over again to keep yourself pushing through those hard times, or to say, you know what, I was sick this week, I'm going to take a week off, I'm going to take care of myself, I'm going to get myself back in proper health, and then I'm going to get right back started, right? It's like going through the drive-through and getting the chocolate shake, right? We got the chocolate shake today. That doesn't mean we have to quit the gym. That doesn't mean we have to stop exercising entirely. That doesn't mean the goal goes out the window. That just means we had a moment where we had a little bit of a setback and now we need to move forward, right? So that's why goal clarity is very, very important. And that's why I spend a lot of time talking about this before I tell you the system, because the system is irrelevant if you don't do the work. If you don't actually reach out to the people, if you don't stay consistent, if you don't do all that, I'll give you every system in the world, you'll never do it. It won't matter. And so what I would encourage everyone to do is, number one, get clarity on that goal. Get clarity on how your life changes. It's not about more money in their account. It's about a specific amount of money. It's $10,000. It's paying off the car. Like, if you don't know exactly how much money you need to pay off the car, like, I would have that on the wall next to my computer or on my lock screen on my phone or wherever. And I would have a little tally and a checklist. And every time I paid some money toward it, or every time I closed a house, I would just cross it out and I would add a new number. And I'd be like, now we're down to 9,000, 8,000, 6,000, 5,000, right? We want to show incremental progress that we're focused on this, right? Or if I was saving up $50,000 to buy a house, I'd put 5,000 and then 10,000, then 20, right? Stack it up towards the goal, towards the $50,000 goal. It's why visualizations like thermometers work really well. Has anyone ever seen a goal tracked by a thermometer? Like for a fundraiser at your kid's school or whatever it was, right? We had that thermometer there that we were just going to keep banging out until we hit that goal. Those types of visualizations are very powerful because they keep you focused on the incremental results that you need to take in order to get where you want to get, right? Okay, so vision board, print it out, put it on your lock screen, put it in front of you where you see it every single day. If you're not willing to look at it every single day, then I will challenge you and say it's not really an important goal to you. Okay, how are we doing so far? Any questions so far? Pop them in the chat, unmute yourself and talk about them. Let's give Jeff the proper honor and respect that we came for. Let's put our hand out. Let's put it over your back and just give yourself a pat on the back. You guys are doing great. Nobody died yet. I hate that exercise, but Jeff loves it, so we just do it for him. All right. Now we're going to move forward and we're going to talk meat and potatoes. So you guys see up here, what if you could hit your goal with nothing but referrals from people you already know? That would be pretty cool, right?
Yes, that would be great.
So how many letters are in the alphabet?
30.
26. How many letters are up here? Not 26, right? So this is an example. This is not the entire exercise. But what I want you to do is let's spend 1 minute right now and fill out this section. So A for accountant, B for butcher, baker, C for candlestick maker, D for dog walker, right? Go ahead, fill out one occupation for every letter through K. And if anybody gets K, I'll give you 5 extra bonus points because that one's really hard. All right, when you're done, just say done in the chat or give me a thumbs up. Let me know. Especially if your screen is not on. All right, we got some people done. So what were some of the ones that you guys came up with? Give me some of the different occupations that you filled out there.
I came up with baker, car salesman, hairdresser.
We got gardener in the comments. What else? Handyman, that's a good one. Firefighter is awesome. All right, cool. So you guys see how you can jog your memory of different occupations, right? You can kitchen installer. Somebody got K. That's 5 bonus points for kitchen installer. Good job, Shelly. That's pretty funny. Yeah, K's a tough one. So what you want to do is you want to go and identify all the different types of businesses because again, we're trying to knock out 100. So in order to knock out 100 new friends, we need to use our brain. We need to narrow our brain, right? If I just say business owners, that's too many people. If we want to narrow our brain down, we want to do this exercise and we want to figure out, okay, what are all the different occupations? And then what I want you to do is I want you to go to your pocketbook. So let's go to our bank account. Let's go to our P&L. Let's figure out, you don't have to do it right now, but let's figure out all the places that you spend money. What businesses do you patronize, right? So you all have a hairdresser or a car wash that you go to, or a accountant or a home inspector. I'm sure you refer a title rep or an escrow officer, or there's title. There's a million different types of businesses that you either spend money on in your day-to-day real estate business, or you spend money on in your personal life, right? There's restaurants you eat at, there's a million different places. So what I would encourage you to do is figure out all the places that you're spending your money and add them to this list, right? Because if I'm going to spend my money on you, then wouldn't it be great if I got a discount on everything that I bought through you, or if I basically got to use your services for free? I don't like to spend money I don't need to spend, right? So how would we get free accountant, right? How much do you guys think you pay your accountant per year? A couple $100, maybe $1,000, $1,500, depending on if you're incorporated or not, right? So at most I pay my accountant like $2,000, okay? Well, how much is my average commission? $10,000, let's call it. Well, if I get one referral from my accountant, then the next 5 years of my accounting services are free of charge, right? Because he referred me one deal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you how to have conversations with the people that are in your life, that are businesses that you can recommend and refer, and how to create a symbiotic relationship where you give more than you take, but you also get a lot of business out of it. Okay, would that be fine with everybody?
Yes, perfect.
So the first thing you do is you make the list. So you're going to have a list of every single person, all these businesses, and you're going to basically, what I want you to do is think of this like you're creating an all-star team. So you want, Marquetta's all-star business owner list. And that's going to have everything from her home inspector to her hairdresser and everything in between. And you get to choose how many categories. So number C, if you go to C, I want you to write in a number on C. How many categories do you want? Are you going to have 20 categories of businesses? Are you going to have 50 categories of businesses? Are you going to have 100 categories of businesses? Write that number in and then go ahead and pop it in the comments with how many businesses, how many categories you want to have. 10, cool.
10.
10. Anyone want to be an overachiever and do more than 10? We already did what? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. That's already more than 10 if you just filled out the top. Right? 15. Cool. We're overachieving now. We're up to 15. So what I find on this is your numbers will vary between 10 and 100. Okay? I would probably aim for about 40 or 50 if it were me. And it's pretty easy to come up with once you start to think strategically about it and you look at your pocketbook of where you spend your money and you think of the different types of people you might be able to refer, right? You can very easily refer a cabinet guy, you can refer a gardener, you can refer, right? There's a bunch of different places that you can refer business. Okay. Next would be how many in each category are you going to have? So let's say I only refer one home inspector because this is a business that's very close to my primary business. And so I refer one great home inspector the entire time and his name's Jimmy. Well, if I only refer one home inspector and then there's an issue with one of the houses and then I get sued and then whatever, right? That's bad business practice, right? They're going to be like, well, you scheduled it. You give all your business to Jimmy. You recommended him. Now it's your fault. So you don't ever want to get in a point where you only refer business to one person per category, right? So how many in each category would you like to have? Would you like to have 2 professionals in every category? Would you like to have 3? Right, Anna put 3 to 5. Lenita put 3. I think 3 is great. 2 is kind of the minimum, right? Mm-hmm. So now what I want you to do is write that number down on D. And then on E, I want you to do the math. So I want you to take C and D and multiply them, and then pop it in the box on how many business owners you're going to be creating on this. So if I have 15 categories and I have 2 per category, that would be 30. So how many will yours be? 30. Perfect.
120, 120, 15, plus
45. Perfect. So you can see now how it's pretty easy to create a list of 30 or 45 or 50 businesses. And if you want to do 50 categories and 2 per category, that's 100. If you want to do 25 business categories and 4 per category, that's 100. If you want to do 35 and you want to do 3, that's basically 100. So there's a lot of ways to chunk this down, right? Now, I'm going to teach you the magic. So here's how you do this. So you take every single person on that list that you're connected with, you connect with them on Facebook, and your goal here is to really give first, right? So we're going to start with somebody who's already on our list, who's already somebody we give business to. So I already give business to Jimmy, the home inspector. So I'm going to call Jimmy up and I'm like, hey, Jimmy, how's it going, man? So, you know, in the last 12 months, I've given you 35 referrals. Yeah, John, awesome, man. Hey, I really appreciate those 35 referrals. Those are great. Da, 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 da. Yeah, man, awesome. So, hey, I have a big goal next year. So next year, I'm thinking, I'm hopefully going to give you like 45 referrals. Is that okay? Would it be okay if I introduce you to 45 more clients next year? And what's Jimmy going to say, right? Jimmy's gonna be like, yeah, man, 45 referrals. That's awesome. That's really cool. I would love that. And then you're gonna say, great. So there's just one thing that's gonna be a little different next year. I'm working on a new business plan. And so next year, everybody that I'm in business with and everybody that I'm referring business to, I have an expectation that they're also gonna be referring me business. I hope you can understand why that's important to me. And then he's gonna be like, yeah, uh-huh. And then this is the part where everybody's going to object and say, wait. My home inspector is not going to give me referrals. My home inspector knows 1,000 real estate agents, and there's no way he can give me referrals, right? Anybody feel that way right now?
Yes.
Thinking no, there's no way my home inspector is going to refer me any deals. You guys are all right there with me?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Here's the hack. Hey, Jimmy, look, before you even start, I know you can't give me all your business. I get it, man. You know, like 1,000 real estate agents. I would never expect that from you. So here's the deal. I'm still going to give you like 30 to 45 new deals next year, but I have a minimum standard that I expect 1. I just expect 1. So I need to see if you're committed to be able to help me with 1 referral next year. Would that be okay if I gave you 35 or 40 clients and you help me find 1 referral next year? Would that be cool? Does that sound fair? Now, can everybody see how that is now overly abundantly fair?
Yes.
Now let's just pretend, let's role play and say Jimmy's like, no way, John, I can't give you 1. What do you guys think of that? What do you guys think of Jimmy if he says, no way, I can't give you 1 referral next year?
Well, we will choose somebody else.
Yeah, like Jimmy's kind of a jerk, right?
Yes.
Like Jimmy's like I think I said earlier, like a snivelly snot sucker, like I want to say some bad things about Jimmy. If I'm like, dude, I'm going to give you 45 referrals and you're not going to give me 1, like I'd almost reach through the phone and smack him. Like, come on, dude. Like, that's crazy, right? And so here's the issue. Many times agents fail at generating referrals because they just ask for referrals. They just say, hey, will you send me everyone you know? When you hear of someone talking about buying or selling real estate, will you introduce them to me? Blah, 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 whatever, right? But it's ambiguous. There's no accountability to it. So if I said, hey, you want to sell more houses next year? And you were like, yeah, I want to sell more houses next year. Like, what are the chances that that happens? It's not going to happen. But if I said, how many more houses do you intend to sell next year? And we put a number on it, and then we measured it, and then we tracked it, and we figured out your gap, and we checked in on it routinely, the chances of that happening are going to be way, way higher, right?
Yeah.
And so what we're not going to do is we're not going to ask Jimmy for 45 referrals. We're not going to ask our hairdresser for 45 referrals. We're not going to ask our best friend for 45 referrals. We're not going to ask anyone for 45 referrals. We're going to ask everyone in our life, everyone, we're going to ask them for one. We're only ever going to ask for one introduction. Why? Because everyone in the world can handle one. One is achievable for everyone. Everyone in your life, even someone you barely know, can get you one deal.
Yes.
When you narrow your focus down to one transaction, one referral, your referrals will go through the roof because now it feels achievable. Now it feels like something I can commit to. So we have this conversation with Jimmy and we say, Jimmy, we're going to give you a bunch of referrals and I have an expectation that I'm going to get one back and it's just one man. So would it be okay if I held you accountable to that? And Jimmy says, yes, right? We want Jimmy's buy-in. Hey, Jimmy, I'm going to check in with you from time to time on this one referral. Would that be okay? Yeah, John, that's fine. Go for it. Okay, cool. So now, Jimmy, you've got an entire year. I only expect one. And here's how it's going to work. When you refer me someone that needs to buy or sell a home, I would like it if you would send it as a group text message. Now, this is magic here, guys. If you write down nothing else, take this one away. I want the referral as a group text message. The reason I want Jimmy to refer me in a group text message is several fold. Number one, when Jimmy sends the group text message on my cell phone, I'm going to know that he referred me. So I'm going to be able to track it. I can mark it off the box and say, well, Jimmy referred me a deal. He's in this year. He's cool. Number two, it's going to allow the other person to know that Jimmy referred me. And so let's just say that I came, we were all at a party and I was like, hey, Marquetta, you got to meet my friend Lanita. And I introduced you two at the party. And then I was like, oh, I'm going to go get another drink. And I walked over to the bar to get another drink. Do you think Lanita would just be like, oh, hey, nice to meet you and turn around and walk away? Or would she be like, oh, okay, and chat you up, right? You're going to have a bit of a conversation. Nobody's ever going to walk away from an introduction like that without at least doing the pleasantries, right? The basics, because I introduced them. So I used my relational capital. I used my relationship with both of them to tie them together and basically force them into a brief conversation. So when Jimmy sends me that group text, let's say he introduces me to Sally.
And you create that group in the Facebook, I guess.
No, Jimmy sends a text message to my phone.
Okay.
So Jimmy, go ahead and text me and include your friend. So it's a three-way text message.
Okay.
And include your friend and let them know how awesome I am and that I would be glad to help. And then I can write back on the text and say, hey, Sally, really nice to meet you. Any friend of Jimmy's is a friend of mine. When can we hop on the phone for 2 minutes so that we can talk about what your goals are? What that will do is that will get Sally on the phone with you. And you now have 2 to 5 minutes to convince that referral why they should work with you, why they should meet with you, why they should hop on a Zoom call, why they should take the next step, why they should get pre-approved with your lender, whatever it is. Jimmy's not responsible for pre-qualifying your leads. Jimmy doesn't need to make sure that they're buying locally. Jimmy doesn't need to make sure that you're the right agent. Jimmy doesn't need to make sure that they're pre-approved. Jimmy doesn't need to make sure that they have a great down payment. Jimmy doesn't need to do any of that stuff. Jimmy just needs to get me in front of them so that I can do my job, so that I can pre-qualify them, so that I can sell them on me. And by making that introduction, they are like 1,000 times more likely to take your call and actually do it. Because what normally will happen is Jimmy will be like, hey, I gave your business card to so-and-so. Well, guess what? Is everybody on this call aware that real estate agents are not very likable people? Like they're not well liked. Our public popularity is very low. Do you guys know that? Like real estate agents rank on national surveys with having less consumer confidence than used car salesmen and ambulance chasing attorneys.
Oh, that's terrible.
It's horrible. So just know that you're up against this giant wall of public perception that everyone doesn't want to talk to you. You're like the smelly kid in class. Okay. Nobody wants to be friends with a real estate agent. Nobody wants to talk to a real estate agent. Now, I understand that everyone on this call is not that type of real estate agent. You guys are all the heroes. You're the knights in shining armor. You're the good guys. And so your mission in life is to connect with as many people as possible to save them from the horrible outcome of running into one of these sleazy, horrible real estate agents that we don't know and we don't like. Those are those guys out there, right? Those guys are the bad guys. We're the heroes. So if they give them a card and say, hey, call John, he's awesome, no one will ever call you. Ever, 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 never, ever, never will anyone call you because somebody gave them a card. That's not how it works. But if they send a 3-way text message, they will get on the phone with you and give you a chance to audition because they owe it to their friend. Because their friend introduced you, and it would be rude, it would be socially unacceptable to get a 3-way text message and then be like, no, I'm not gonna talk to him for 2 minutes. They may hang up on you after 2 minutes, but they will talk to you. Okay, so that's really, really important. So now we have talked to Jimmy. So we've friended him on Facebook. We've had a private messenger conversation with him. We've got him on a phone call. We've asked him about his goal. Right? Jimmy, what's your goal next year? How many home inspections do you want to do? I want to do 1,000. Awesome. I would love to help you get there. I'm going to refer you about 30 to 45 deals. Okay. Now we've told him that we're going to refer him business. Now we've told him about our goal. We've told him that, so, hey, my goal is to help 25 families this year. And when I do, I'm going to be able to pay off my kid's car. And I'm going to be able to go on a second vacation to Disney World. So you see how we're tying this whole thing together as a narrative? We're asking Jimmy about his goals. We're sharing our goals with him. We're a team now, right? We're really bought in together. Like if I help Jimmy, Jimmy gets to take his kids to Europe. And if Jimmy helps me, I get to pay off my kid's car. So now we're really a partnership. This isn't just like Jimmy's my home inspector. This is like Jimmy and I are like, we're married. We're on a team now, right? Like Jimmy hits his goal, I hit my goal, everyone's wildly happy. Then we say, hey, I'm going to hold you accountable to this. So is it okay? We get his buy-in to check in on him every once in a while. Jimmy says, yes, it's good. We've isolated it to 1 referral. We don't need 45. We need 1 referral. And then we teach him how to refer us. Hey, Jimmy, I need it in a 3-way group text message. That's the best way to do it. Okay? Does that all sound simple enough? Can you guys all figure out how that system works and how you can follow along with that? It's pretty laid out, right? There's no like guessing. You'll know if you did it, right? At the end of it, you're going to know, did I call Jimmy? Did I add him as a friend? Did I, right? It's very simple.
Yeah.
The problem is most people don't want to do it. And the reason they don't do it is because they're afraid of rejection or they're afraid of a tough conversation or whatever. But the reality is it's not a tough conversation. You're here to help someone else build their business. You're going to send them a whole bunch of clients. And in return, you're just expecting 1. And so what are some of the objections? Why might Jimmy be like, no, I won't send you a referral? What might he say?
I've never used you before, so I don't have any personal experience to share.
Awesome. You've inspected 700 homes for my business. You know I do great work. I wouldn't have that many clients to refer you. Would it be okay? You know, the only way that you can find out for sure is to give me a chance. Could I get 1 opportunity this year?
Yeah, sure. 1, yeah.
1. Give me 1. Just put me at bat, buddy. I need 1 at bat. I don't need to bat the whole lineup. I just need 1 at bat this year.
That's fair.
Another one might be, hey, my sister's a realtor. Hey, I totally love it. I love your sister. I'm sure she's awesome. Totally understand. You can go ahead. Yeah, my significant other's a realtor. Yeah, my wife is a realtor. My husband's a realtor. Awesome. I love that. And so you can go ahead and give them 99% of your referrals. I'm just asking for 1. Is that okay if you give me 1 and you give them the other 99? Okay, cool. Because we need this to be a partnership, Jimmy. We need it to go both ways. This can't be unilateral. So, and that's okay. If you want to give 100% of your business to your significant other, of your referrals, that's fine. But I'm going to have to give 100% of my business to someone else as well. This only works if you refer people multiple deals routinely, right? You have to be the type of person that wants to live and breathe giving more than you get, right? I refer a ton of people to everyone in my life. I am always telling people how great my dentist is. Any chance I get to help introduce them to somebody that I love and respect, I'm going to take advantage of it. And when I take advantage of it, I'm going to make sure that the person I sent the referral to knows that I did it. I'm going to get credit for it. Okay, so we've put all the objections aside. It doesn't matter what they say. They have to give you one because they have a lot of them that they can give out, and you're just asking for one. And if they won't give you one, then guess what? There's 1,000 home inspectors. And some people will be like, well, guess what? Like, I refer only this home inspector, whether he gives me business or not, because he's the best. He always does a good job with my clients. Well, guess what? Doing a good job is the minimum standard. I don't work with anybody who doesn't do a good job. Doing a good job gets you in the door. Referring me one client keeps you in the door. Right? Okay. So the truth is you may have to get out of business with a few people that are super selfish that you've been giving business to for way too long that have never reciprocated it back. And that's just life. Like, there's nothing I can do about that. If they're unwilling to commit to giving you one referral, I think they probably shouldn't, they don't deserve your deals. Like, I think you owe it to yourself to say, you know what, this is not a win-win for me. This doesn't work. Okay, so how many people will you have that conversation with is line E. Line F is by when. So I would encourage you to have all of these conversations by this training next week. So by next Tuesday. If you want to take a month to do it and you want to make this your annual thing you do every October and you want to finish it by the end of October, put the end of October, that's fine. If you want to do it by the end of the year and you want to make this your fourth quarter thing that you do every year for your business, then put it by the end of the year. What I know is that the more time you give it, the more time it will take. If you set it as a deadline to be done by next Tuesday, it'll be done by next Tuesday. And the longer you stretch it out, the less likely you are to do it. If you say, I'm going to do it by the end of the year, your chances of doing it are much lower than if you say, I'm going to do it by the start of next week. Next is going to be the goal percentage of businesses that will commit. So wouldn't it be nice if we called 100 people and 100 people said yes? Wouldn't that be great? And at the end of the day, I think if we called 100 people and we did a really good job of it, we might get 100 people to say yes. But let's just set a goal, right? Let's say 80% of the people we call will say yes. Let's say 75% of the people we call will say yes. Let's say 90%. Whatever it is for you, put that goal there. And then H is the goal percent of people who will commit to one transaction. So it's one thing to say, yeah, we're going to be referral partners and you can send me business. It's another to say, yes, I'm committed to sending you one and you can hold me accountable to it. And so the idea is we want to isolate on line I, we want to figure out how many we really need. Because what you might do is you might say, well, I want to get 10 more referrals next year. So I'm going to call 10 businesses. But that won't work. Because if you call 10 businesses and only half of them commit, and then of the half that commit, only 2 actually do it and follow through, then that's only going to be 2 deals. But if you call 200 businesses and you have 200 conversations and 150 of them commit, and then 75 of those actually do it, that'll be 75 transactions. And I don't think there's anybody on this call that wouldn't hit their goal if they had an extra 75 transactions next year, right? And I would encourage you all to know that there are 200 local business owners that you can connect with immediately that would love your referrals more than anything, right? That need your support. Like right now, I want you to think like, who do you know that started a business in the last 12 months? Like, you know somebody, I guarantee you everybody on here knows one person who started a business in the last 12 months, and you could be the lifeline for that business. You alone could be the thing that gets them to success versus quitting. And if you just pull up your bootstraps and you make it your mission to refer them as many businesses, as many connections as it takes to launch their business into the next level, Now let's say that person has a successful business in 2 or 3 years and they have 1,000 customers. Who do you think they're going to remember? They're going to remember the person who took it upon themselves to help them launch their business, who got their hands dirty, who got in the mud with them and helped them find clients, right? You have that opportunity. Think of the people in your world, right? Think of the people that you are already maybe friends with. How many people on here have a friend on social media who sells something?
Oh, I have a lot. Yeah.
Marquetta, you've got some, right?
I
What do they sell? Tell me something that gets sold on social media.
Chocolate dipped strawberries.
Chocolate dipped strawberries. I like those. That's awesome.
Bakery
That's an easy one.
T-shirts, jewelry.
T-shirts. Yep.
Cupcakes.
Cupcakes. How about shampoo? You guys got any Monet, whatever you call it, the Shampire? I'm building a Shampire, people, or they sell essential oils. You guys ever
Yes,
seen that?
essential oils.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's
Mary Kay.
Mary Kay, exactly. So you know what I love about those people? That job's really hard. Okay, it's really hard to make a lot of money selling that crap online. If you're selling shampoo to all your friends, like that's not an easy hustle. You could just go down and get a job at Trader Joe's and have a much easier life than trying to hustle all your friends to buy your gym clothes or your shampoo or whatever it is. And so because it's difficult, they really appreciate it when you help them. And they really know a lot of people. Because in order to get a lot, like 100 customers, they need to know like 1,000 people. And so you can tap into their database very effectively by partnering with them and helping them. So some people are like, well, but then they want to tag me in everything and they want to ruin my social media game and my algorithm because blah, 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 I'm supporting them. So here's the deal. What if you said, hey, I'm going to be sending out a lot of thank yous for all these referrals I'm doing. Would it be okay if I got some samples, or could I buy one of your bracelets, or could I buy your product, or could I buy a little oil thing or whatever? And I can send that as a thank you to people and I can tell them who hooked me up. And so I can promote your business as I thank all these people for all these referrals that I'm getting. I can go ahead and promote your business along the way. Now we've created a bit of a partnership, right? That's more of a win-win. Or, hey, when I know people who are interested in creating more streams of income, I'll refer them to you. I'll go ahead and make sure they know that you're the person that they should talk to if they have any interest in essential oils or whatever the case may be, right? So I'm just plugging my laptop in here. Just a sec. I don't want it to die on us. So there's a lot of ways to effectively do that. Do MLMs count as businesses? Yes. So anybody who has a database, businesses are really just a way to connect with a database. So if I connect with a restaurant owner, that restaurant owner probably knows 1,000 people or more. And so you can be the guy out fishing with the one fishing pole, right? Doing fly fishing where I got to tie the knot and I got to do the whole thing. And like maybe I'll catch a fish that day. Or you can be the guy out there with a giant net and you can cast it out in the ocean and you can pull it in and you can pull out hundreds of fish at a time. The reason you want to go business to business is because all these people have the ability to refer you to more than one person. They all have a very deep database. And if you get involved in a personal relationship with them, you're going to be able to be connected. You are now 1 degree of separation from everyone in their life. So what a lot of people I know do is like they'll do a YouTube series and they'll go interview local restaurant owners. The goal of that is to be able to tap into the restaurant owner's database. They want to send new people to eat at the restaurant with the hope that when the restaurant owner knows someone who wants to buy a house, that they will refer them, right? And then you hold them accountable to one relationship. So it's more like fishing with a net than it is like fishing with a pole. And it's a really phenomenal way to do that. So we can find them online by going to the Chamber of Commerce and seeing who likes that page. We can add all of the business owners that we already know. But one strategic way that I thought was really great, and Jeff came up with a good post on this, was a post on your Facebook page, which will hopefully get very high engagement, which would be tag your favorite local business owner in the comments and tell me one reason they're great.
What if tag
What was that?
the
Oh, tag one local business owner and tell me why they're great. Or tag your favorite local business owner and tell me why they're great. And so everyone in your feed knows a local business owner. And so they can connect you and they can be like, oh my gosh, Larry runs the world's best car wash, right? You guys know those like friends of yours who are really passionate about a business or whatever, right? They have this dry cleaner. You got to go to this dry cleaner. They're amazing. They're the best dry cleaner that ever lived, right? Like that's how I feel about my dentist. When I hear people be like, say anything about, they could be like 3 tables over at a crowded restaurant. And if they say like, man, I just can't find a good dentist, I will drop what I'm doing and I will go over and I'll give a testimony about how much I love my dentist, because my dentist is out of this world amazing, right? So you're going to be able to tap into all of your friends for the favorite business that they have, right? Everybody's got that secret dry cleaner or that magic car wash or whatever it is. And then they're going to tag them, and you're not going to get tagged. It's not the business that you want. You don't want the business. You want the owner. You want the relationship with the person who you can support their business and directly tap into their database, such by doing. Now, the conversation with Jimmy, my home inspector, who I've already sent a ton of business to, and the conversation with Larry, the dry cleaner guy, who I've never talked to in my life, is very different, right? So with Larry, he's a new relationship. So with him, we need to connect on Facebook. Then we need to have a chat in Messenger. Like, hey, Larry, I hear you run the best dry cleaner in the world. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? Da, 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 da. Ask him 3 to 5 questions and then say, you know what? This would probably be easier if we hopped on a phone call. Get on the phone with him and then let him tell you all about his business. How long have you been doing this? Who's your ideal customer? Do you guys do anything special that I should know about? Do you have any promotions going on? Blah, 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 right? Ask him everything about his business. When you ask someone about their business, what are they more likely to do?
Tell you all about it.
And then they're more likely to ask you about yours.
Yes, yes.
And so when he asks you about your business, you need to be prepared to explain to him your business. And you need to do it in a way that's not boring as SHIT. So don't just be like, oh, I sell a couple houses. No, you need to have it be exciting. Be like, I work 100% by referral with business owners in this area. And my goal is to give out 1,000 referrals next year with the hope that I get 50 back and I help 50 families make a move at one of the most stressful times in their life. And I'm going to impact, future generations by helping make sure that, people accumulate wealth through home ownership. Whatever your little pitch is, like spice it up, make it jazzy, right? Because you want him to get bought in. You want him to be excited about how you do business and why you do business and what you do that's different, right? We stage all our listings at no cost to our sellers, blah, 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 blah. Whatever it is, you want to be able to dive into all of that pretty quickly and explain that to him. And then what you don't want to do is you don't want to be like, hey, Larry, send me one referral, right? You don't start there. You start by learning everything about his business and then sending him a couple referrals. And so maybe you take 3 or 5 businesses every week that you're kind of focused on helping them generate some business and pass some referrals their way. And then you call your whole database and you're like, hey, how's it going? Da, 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 checking in on you, whatever. Hey, by the way, do you need a great dry cleaner? Because I just met this guy, Larry, and he's amazing. Right? And then out of every 5 calls, maybe you talk to somebody who needs a dry cleaner, so on and so forth, and you start to send him some referrals. Once you send him a couple referrals, that's when you get on another call and you say, hey, Larry, just wanted to make sure I sent you like 6 referrals. Did you get them? Oh yeah, John, they all brought that little card I gave you in and they got their 5% discount and da, 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 da. Or, hey, John, thanks for group text messaging me, all those people. I really appreciate it, whatever, right? And then you deliver the news of like, hey, so now that I've given you a handful of referrals, I'd love to continue to do that. Would it be okay if you referred me 1 in the next 12 months? And so you're building to this relationship. What you want to do is you want to put people in a relational debt. So if I give you 5 referrals, you're going to feel indebted to me. Or if I do something really thoughtful for you, you're going to feel indebted to me. And people don't like that. People don't like it when the balance of power is out of whack, right? This is like how to win friends and influence people, like step one. So if I make you feel like you're in debt to me, you might want to send me a Starbucks gift card as a thank you. But guess what? I don't want your Starbucks gift card. I want one referral. And so it's very important that when you put someone in debt to you, you teach them how you want to get them out of debt. We can be homies again, we'll be equal again when you refer me one person. Not when you match me 1-to-1. I'm going to give you 5, you give me 1. That's equal. That's still equal. It's not, I give you 5, you give me 5. And that way, when they give you the 1, they can breathe a sigh of relief and be like, okay, I did my part. And they can feel good about that. Now, let's say somebody gives us more than 1 referral. Would we be okay with that?
Yes, that would be great.
Yeah, so if they gave us 2 referrals, that'd be amazing. If they gave us 20 referrals, that would be the best thing ever, right? And so you're going to track and you're going to learn who gives you the most referrals. You're never going to ask for more than 1, but once they give you 1, let's work on the second. Once they give you 2, let's work on 4. Once they give you 4, let's work on 40, right? And so the people, right, you're going to have 100 business owners, but they're not all going to reward you equally. You're going to have 5 of them that are going to give you a ton of referrals. You're going to have 20 of them that might give you 1. You're going to have 50 of them that give you 0, right? And that's okay. But guess what? You're going to spend your time, energy, referrals, money, everything. You're going to spend your whole life on the ones at the top, on the ones that give you a minimum of 1 or more. And then every couple of months, you're going to check in on them. And you're going to say, hey, Larry, you know, it's been a couple of months. Hey, just wanted to check back in. Have you sent any referrals my way? Did I miss a text message? And he's going to be like, oh, John, I gave out your card. I gave your card to somebody. And you're like, Larry, we talked about this, man. Can you go ahead and could you group text me with that person? Because like, you know, nobody's going to call me. I appreciate that you gave my card out, but nobody's ever going to call me. And he'll be like, oh, shoot, I forgot about the group text message. Yeah, I'll do that right now. I'll do that right now. Okay, cool. And then you're going to call him in like 6 months. You're gonna be like, hey, Larry, any referrals? I didn't get anything. And he'll be like, no, man, but I'm working on it. Like, I'm really trying. Okay, cool. Yeah, you've got 6 more months. Like, not a big deal. We have 6 months. It's fine. Hey, how are you? How's the family? How's the kids? How's your goal? Right? Check in with them. Then you call them at 9 months or at 8 months or at 10 months, right? You check in with these people regularly. So it should be regularly, meaning it should be on your calendar. This shouldn't be like, if I remember in February to check in with Larry, I'll check in with him. No, this should be like, in February, I am checking in with Larry to see if he gave me a referral yet. Then, as you get towards the end of the year of the 12-month period, you say, Larry, here's the deal, man. You know, I've given you like 7 referrals this year. Or if it's your home inspector, you can be like, I've given you 30 referrals this year. And he's gonna be like, yeah, I know, John, that's awesome. I really appreciate it. So I just want to let you know, I really appreciate the great work that you've done for all my clients, and I'm kind of bummed. And he's gonna be like, yeah, I know, I haven't given you that referral, huh? You're like, I know, you haven't. And you know what? I'm bummed because I love your service. And I wish I could continue to refer you business next year. But unfortunately, like I told you, my relationships, my referral partners have to be a true partnership. It has to be a win-win. And I've sent you 7 referrals and you've sent me none. And so I just can't continue to refer you business. I hope you understand. And I hope you know that I'm just as disappointed as you are, because I really wish I could continue to give you business. Does anybody think that's unfair? That's 100% honest and fair conversation.
Yeah.
And you get to end it with, but Larry, guess what? It's not over. This is not goodbye forever, my friend. This is just ta-ta for now. At any time when you give me that 1 referral, I'll put you back on the A squad. Happy to put you back on the list, and I'm happy to continue to send you referrals as soon as you make that introduction. Is that fair? And then he'll be like, yeah, John, I totally understand. I'm cut off. No more referrals for me until I get you that 1. Now guess what he's going to spend the next week doing? Going to get you a referral. And why? Because it's incredibly valuable to him. It's worth 30 deals. It's worth 7 deals, right? And until you actually have that conversation and pull the plug, some people just won't get it. Some people will never make it a priority to refer you a deal until you take the referrals away. And you do it in such a way that you gave them every opportunity to make you not do that. But now they've put you in a corner. Now you've given and given and given, and they didn't reciprocate. And so you have to draw the line somewhere, and you're going to say, look, you're on the bench. I'm taking you out of the game. I'm putting you on the bench. Happy to get you back in the game as soon as you get me that one referral. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
That's the strategy. So I will argue that if you do nothing else other than this strategy alone, you'll hit your goal next year. Because if you make it a point to find 100 or 200 local business owners, develop a relationship with them, and then pump them with referrals every opportunity you get, getting one referral out of 50% of those people is probably more than the number of transactions you need to do next year.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean you don't have to do all the other stuff Jeff advocates, and that doesn't mean you don't, right? But you could. You could say, I'm not going to do anything else. I'm just going to do business to business, and I'm going to kick ass at this strategy. I am going to make this, I'm going to own this. And if you own this at a high level, this is the easiest thing in the entire world. You know how hard it is to get some of your friends on the phone? You know how hard it is to get some of your past clients on the phone? Like they're too busy. They never pick up. Gosh, I forgot this thing even made calls anymore. I thought it was just for text messages, right? Like some people just will not talk on the phone. You know who will always pick up the phone? Yeah, the receptionist at the law firm, right? Business owners. Business people still get on the phone and have conversations. Business people still go have lunches. Business people still have coffees. Business people are in business, and so are you. And so if you make it a point to do business with business people, everybody who has a business has a database. And you will be able to add hundreds more people to your network because you're only ever 1 degree of separation from everyone that you need to know. And so I'm going to end with this last piece of math. So if you have 150 people that you know, that you have a relationship with, that you could pick out of your brain, right? You don't have to go to Facebook. You don't need a list. You could just write down 150 names of people that you know. Every single person you're connected to has that same 150 people. And this concept comes from a book called Tribes by Seth Godin. And so in Tribes, what they say is that you have 150 strong ties. These are my strong ties. And everybody else has 150 strong ties. And together you have a chain. And then you get circled out to their 150 people. So if you take 150 relationships and you multiply it by 150, you get like 25,000. 25,000 people you're 1 degree of separation from. And that's all the people you ever needed to know. You don't need to go meet more people. You just need to be introduced to the people you already know's friends. And this is a really powerful strategy to do just that. So what questions do you guys have as we wrap up?
No, really.
No questions. I was
It's very, very clear.
good.
We just have to work it out.
One person
make
said
it-
it's brilliant. That's awesome. I co-opted this from like 4 different people and I mashed it together. So it's not all my original thought, but it is my system. So I'm glad you guys like it.
It really is good. Yes.
You guys, you're going to implement it. You guys will actually
Yes.
sit down. You'll make the list. You'll put your all-star list together. You'll post on Facebook. You'll get everything. You'll find your local businesses. You'll message them. So really go back here though, like, right? Like we got to go back here. This is important. This is what you're going to do. You're going to add 100 business owner friends. You're going to have 25 messenger conversations, and you're going to do at least 10 phone calls. I would advocate doing more, but at a minimum, do this, right? Do this week 2 homework. And if you do that week 2 homework, I guarantee you're going to be pretty far ahead compared to the rest of the competition. So that is what I would encourage. What was your biggest aha? Who had a takeaway where something like a light bulb, like something just hit them in the face and they were like, man, this is crazy.
Utilizing the Chamber of Commerce and seeing who likes their pages.
Yeah, that's a great little hack, right?
Hmm.
I actually think like small business groups or business mastermind groups would be awesome
Yes.
too, if you can get involved in
Yep.
that. And that's a great way. I mean,
This was great. Thank you for today.
you're very
Yeah,
welcome.
I never thought, I really learning how powerful the Facebook is.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, like you said at the beginning, I always thought that Facebook was only, I didn't even want to be in Facebook too much. It was like very private, and
Mhm.
now I understood through these weeks, I have been understanding how powerful it could be, you know.
Yeah.
I always, all my business is from referrals, but if I do it like this, I will, yeah, it's going to be great.
It's going to be a game changer. And
Yes,
it's
exactly.
Facebook's
Um,
extremely efficient.
And there's one thing, I live in Washington, D.C., and there are more trade associations per capita than anywhere on the planet. And I'm thinking if you looked at trade associations and perhaps if you wanted to befriend businesses with similar values, look for those trade associations and then look to see who in belonging or who likes those pages that you know or would like to know. And then at least you'll have businesses with the same sort of values that you have.
It's brilliant, right? It's
Yeah.
brilliant. And like, what if you just have a restaurant, like a local restaurant you just love, but like you don't know the owner? Wouldn't you like to know the owner?
Well, we have fewer of those now.
Well, sure, but like it's not that hard to find a local business that you patronize that you already love and just be
I
like,
ca-
I love your business. Can I meet the owner? I just want to chat with you. Like, I want to send more business your way. No business owner on the planet is going to be like, no, I don't want to talk to you. Like
Yeah.
every business owner on the planet is going to be like, you love my business? Hell yeah, let's talk. I'd love for you to send more business my way. Like these people want to be chatted up, right? And so
Yeah.
I think, and I love that with the shared values and the trade associations and things like that. Like that's a really great way to go find people. Shelly mentioned the referral strategy group text. If I give you nothing else today at all, if you forget everything I said, please implement the group text. The teaching your referral partners to send you a group text message is the #1 most important high value thing you could do to change your entire business, because it just solves so many problems all at once and it does it in the most simplistic way possible.
Okay.
It has been a huge game changer.
Thank you, John.
You're welcome.
It's
All right,
been
guys.
really good.
Well, I'm in the group and I will give the reins back over to Jeff for future weeks, but it was really awesome to be able to be with you guys and to share these things with you. And if you need anything else, please friend request me, join Messy Middle, come to the Messy Middle Cultural Summit next week, private message me with anything you need. I'm here to help. And thanks again for coming today. I hope you got a lot of value out of it.
Thank you. Thank you, John.
Thanks, John.
Thank you for your time.
Good one.
Bye.